So this is not a partisan issue.
It shouldn't be. This is a fascist issue. People who don't want voting and want fascist control but have people think they're voting. I mean, people forget the fact there was voting in Hitler's Germany. Guess what? He won with 90% of the vote all the time. There was voting in Saddam's Iraq, and guess what? Saddam won the vote all the time. Well, did they win? Was that actually the will of the voter? Was that the way the votes were even cast?
Interesting question. I want to read something to you that was on the front page of the Washington Post yesterday. Maryland State Senate President Mike Miller called the current voting system, quote, the Diebold machines state of the art. Do you consider these machines state of the art?
State of the art what? A state of the art for a voting machine? I guess so. As far as I'm concerned, what I have seen of voting machines is reasonably good 1994 technology.
Okay. Now, what do you suggest that the government should tell Diebold to do to make their machines less vulnerable?
You can't make voting machines less vulnerable. You can make voting machines transparent. All code needs to be inspected by external auditors. All process needs to be validated by the same way we do banking systems. Do credit card systems get defrauded? Yes, to the tune of 2.5%. 2.5% is a major amount if you're dealing with a vote. So let's look at credit card industry. I spend probably an average of 30 hours a week every single week of my life battling to try and keep the number of credit card frauds below 2.5%. We have a lot of money to do it. People really care about that. But that level of background fraud, we can't get it below that point. It's just too hard. Well, let's look at the question of, do you want to have a system in place where there's a permanent background of electronic voting fraud at 2.5%? That means you have to win an election by a minimum of 3% to know that you won? I don't. Paper ballots, please. That's the only thing that can be secure. You can use electronic counters, and I appreciate Diebold wanted HAVA. They've got their $4 billion. They've given away federal money. Great. You've stolen the money. Throw the machines away. Let's go back to paper.